Hey everyone, welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. We are in the Caravanserai. We have just added the fourth member of our little group, the assassin Makina. And I'm not 100% sure what we're doing here. We just entered this new part of, we just entered this new area, so, it looks like it's part of the city, but so far the only exit that we have is through her little cave hideout, so probably just go and talk to the folks here, and I'm not looking to head out of the city, so
yes,
I think that's part of one of our main quests, but yeah, I'm looking to finish up, or at least continue some of our other quests, but let's go see what's going on here. The Millennia guard, a man in brigandine coat, stands in front of a heavy wooden gate. His arms are crossed, his feet firmly planted. You got business with the Millennia? No. Who's the Millennia? She's the boss lady of the Bloom, been in charge about 10 years. Couldn't tell you what the title means, but there's always been a Millennia. And if you had to ask that question, you ain't got business with her. Makina says the Millennia he serves is hardly worth the water it takes to spit. A real shin-shaving grifter. The old one was a living avatar of the Bloom. What's the Bloom? It's a monster, a stinking tumor the size of a city. His veins and cysts and sacs that can crawl around inside. Sometimes they lead to maws. His sunken eyes gleam as he speaks the word. If you give them what they want to eat, they'll send you to another world, or not. If they decide to feed on you instead. Okay.
All right.
Well, that seems like something I don't particularly want to get involved with. Hey, some changing god cultists, and there's two of us here. Three robed figures stand here, staring at the skies for ships or watching the entrance to the Caravanserai for new visitors. He sees you coming and he elbows his companions. They turn and bow in unison. Revered one, we had heard of your arrival in the city, and we thank you for the honor. We believe great things are in store for you. And is this? It is, brethren. The new Castoff travels with Makina herself, two of them together. And you wondered why I was hiding in the cave of the last worlds. What are you doing here? We look for your creator, revered one, and the comings and goings of other Castoffs like you. Since this is a major travel hub, we had hoped, in vain, it is generally true, to see your kind come through. And why, here you are. It is a delight to see you. Tell me about yourself. We are the servants of your creator, revered one. The one who brought us your incarnation. He cheats death and changes the course of history. He is the savior of humanity, and we seek to emulate his ways. Okay. He seems like a giant jerk. I mean, I don't think anybody should really particularly follow his ways, but I guess everybody wants to be immortal.
Let's do it.
Let's see what's down here. Where does this go? To Cliff's Edge. Cliff's Edge is another place we want to go, so we might follow that up. Sylph. This pretty young woman stands unnaturally still. Suddenly her large glassy eyes spring to life with a rattle and quickly lock with yours just before just as quickly snapping away. Her skin, as fair as porcelain, is cracked beneath several layers of dirt and faded makeup, and on the side of her neck you see what appears to be a small tattoo of vertical lines with glyphs etched at the bottom. For a moment, familiarity overwhelms you, disappearing as a minute shudder runs down her arms. Her gaze snaps back to your face, but not to your eyes. She's staring at your tattoo. Jerkily, her hand rises to touch her own. Well met, I am called Sylph. You note the slight pause before she pronounces her name. Her voice has a purring quality under which you can hear the spinning of countless gears. She coughs, just once, and a small greenish cloud emerges between her lips. How did you come by that mark? Try to remember where you've seen this tattoo before. You hear an echo of yourself and see in front of you a strange old man, gnarled by time and rabid with expectation. On his neck, weathered and sagging, you see the same series of vertical lines etched into his skin, a faded map to a time or a place that no longer exists. An inadmissible period of time has elapsed without an answer. Conclusion: I will rephrase the question. How did you come to have those marks upon your skin? Cast off the changing god. You hear an excited clicking and her eyes flutter closed briefly. I appreciate your honesty, she says, the manic working of gears sounding from deep within her chest. I hope you will answer another question for me. I wonder if you might have heard this riddle before. What comes in with breath and out with word, transmutes upon death but can't be conferred? What comes in with a breath and out with a word, transmutes upon death but can't be conferred. Life is a good answer. I don't like glory. I don't like consciousness. Probably not love. Probably not nothing. I'm going to go with life, but I'm going to try to remember where I heard it before. You listen again to the words, feel the echo and the weight of them moving in your mind. You see self garbed in the robes of an Aeon priest, her face in shadow. But when the riddle comes, it's in your voice, not hers, and the rhyme is different. It arrives with the first breath and leaves with each word, transfigured by death, unless it's conferred. Arrives with first breath, leaves with each word, transfigured by death, unless it's conferred. Consciousness. It isn't until you surface from the memory to find self staring at you that you realize you spoke the word out loud. Well, perhaps you can be of use to me as all. So she told me the riddle wrong. There's one final question I would ask of you. Please answer to the best of your abilities. What would you do if you met someone who succeeded at your life's work before you, and they refused to share their method? Probably find a new life's work. Or I would find my own method. Yet you failed, haven't you? These cast-offs you make, each an imperfect shell, each an undying monument to your failure. Okay. She laughs at the look on your face. It's not a pleasant sound. And to think, all these years ago, you had the audacity to call yourself a god. Look at me, look at this. This is the pinnacle of a lost civilization, my perfect immortal vessel, and I'm the one that delivered it, me. She spits bright green froth that lands in the dust at your feet. That to your help. My methods are beyond your comprehension, and I'm gonna make sure they stay that way. The light from her eye fades from her eyes as suddenly as it arrived. She blinks at you with a chittering of decaying cogs, folding her hands in front of her and executing a small bow. I do not know what transpired. Please accept my apologies. Let's examine her a little bit closely. And I'm gonna guess that, wow, I actually have the highest percentage chance. Let's let Aligern do this one. He's better at this stuff than I am. You study her cracked porcelain skin, the way her joints are covered by the seams in her clothing, and what once must have been a remarkably pretty face. You recall a fragment of ancient machine history discovered by your sire in a place called the Wheel of Boz. Automatons like self were created in many different shapes to please their owners, no two alike, all handcrafted and unique. Only a few survivors were known to the machine minds of Boz, and those went to sale for the highest bidder. A sharp edge of disappointment. You recall walking away from Self when she was offered to you, passing a sneering man in dark robes who had already made an offer. His presence overwhelms the memory with a sudden understanding of who and what stands in front of you. Eden, an obsessive Aeon priest who made it his personal mission to track the changing god to the ends of the world, searching for a way to transfer his self into the vessels of his choosing. Seems he succeeded, at least partially, but one look at Self's decaying body tells you that he's merely exchanged one prison for another, with no hope of salvation or any time soon. Eden, are you in there? I am Self. Have you mistaken me for someone else? Eden, I know you're in there. Can you hear me? I am Self. Okay, well. That was an interesting conversation. Let's see. Wonder what the barkeep's got. Seen you before, haven't I? Locals don't usually drink here. They're not cops. Who are you? The man's brow is creased with worry. He avoids your gaze, his eyes fixed on a point to your left and far away. His trembling, battered fingers pluck at the air. He stares through the chattering customers at the bar as though he is utterly alone. Stepping closer, you see thick blue crease running down his throat into the depths of his heavy robes. An orderly rows of azure holes pierce his bony arms from elbow to wrist. Discord, scarred melody, too many voices, hurts. Okay. He does not meet your eyes as you step closer to examine him. Instead, he winces as though your presence is somehow painful to him. You watch him move and track the twitching of his fingertips. You hear a low, vibrating whistle, though it is not coming from his mouth. What are you doing here? Wayfarers bring me broken Numenera, and I repair them for pay. I need to eat. The wayfarers thank me. They do not know I have remade their Numenera. They do not know they will also be remade. Can you remake any of my Numenera? No, you're wounded. A broken instrument. He has no use of you. What are you staring at? The grand hall, a spiral pinned by broken columns, the invisible roof. He tells me not to share our secrets with you. You are not of the choir. You are discord. Cold wind coils down from the rooftop, flickering at his tattered robes. Suddenly you hear something beneath the flute-like notes of the breeze, over the holes in the man's skin, a dry, angry voice speaking the word, Akar. What does that mean? You may as well have slapped the man. White with shock, he doubles over, clutching his chest. Beneath the man's agony, you sense otherworldly indignation and ageless despair, deep as the oceans. Great Akar was once the mightiest of cities, and it will rise once more again when the choir awakens. The conductor will reward your curiosity and allow me to tell you what I have seen. You need only ask. Wish to know what you have seen. Before my becoming, I found a pit ringed by stone, deep in the Arvren wood. Broken pillars at the edges. I stepped inside, breathed the dusty air. I was lost in the grand hall for days, decades. Pillars twisting like hallways, spiraling, the ringing of bells, whirling chandeliers, listening to the song of the lost choir. I was an audience, becoming an instrument. Finally I slept, and I woke here upon its heights. He took my voice, but my blood sings. I am becoming, I dream, and I remake Numenera for wayfarers so that they will become and dream as well, and together we will go in the forest to the ring where the grand hall once stood and rebuild. His eyes fall silent. He falls silent, eyes wide and wet, as if dreaming of the city that lives in his mind. Okay. That's okay.
Of course.
I mentioned this in previous episodes. I like that they have so many interesting characters that have nothing to do with like the main quest. A lot of games, it's like every person that you talk to that has something interesting to say, it's only because they're part of furthering your quest. And this makes it feel a lot more like, it's a real world that moves on with or without you. A woman as tall and graceful as Willow steps forward to greet you. She bows, then looks down at you with warm gold-flecked eyes. Welcome to Tranquility's Rest. I am the proprietress. tranquility. Are you looking for a place to take your ease? Let's see. I don't think we need a room for the night quite yet. Let's
Done.
Let's see, there's levies to talk to. Who are these people? Silver orphans. 2 silver humanoids stand near a small vehicle of indeterminate origin. Their skin has a reflective metallic sheen that makes them appear both a part of and separate from the scenery around them. As you approach, both of them turn to face you. They have no mouths, and their eyes are fathomless black, reflecting nothing. A name for the creature rises from memory, Silver Orphans, and may not be the name that they know themselves, but it's the name used by the Order of Truth. The Silver Orphans turn to stare at each other for several moments, then the one on the right gestures at you in a complicated pattern. Seeing your confusion, the one on the left kneels, using a foreshortened finger to trace lines and circles in the dust at your feet. Ripples radiate from a point, first a square, then a human eye, then an unrecognizable mass of interconnected dots. The Silver Orphan looks up at you, waiting your reply. Okay, try to interpret the drawing. Yeah, let's go ahead and give it our best shot. You stare at the drawing, following the lines and shapes with your eyes. There a wave of words, and there the human eye, still recognizable amid the dots and lines that surround it. Behind the eye, the square, something familiar, like a tool you once held in your hands. Like the resolution of meaningless noise into the refrain of a beloved song, you suddenly know what the Silver Orphans seek, machine intelligences, however or wherever they may be concealed. The orphans watch impassively as you reach this realization. Then the one on the right holds out a hand in a request for information. Tell the orphans about the foreman in the underbelly. You sketch an approximation of the city's manufactory, including rough depictions of the foremen, careful to indicate how they tower over the human workers. Then you draw a line connecting them to the orphan symbol for machine intelligences. The Silver Orphans watch you intently until your drawing is complete. Uh-oh. You are carrying too many ciphers and have received cipher sickness Vettel. The strange forces... Oh yeah, so they were saying earlier that ciphers give you bonuses, but they also have a downside, and if you have too many of them, then you suffer one of the downsides. We'll take a look at that in a second. They turn to stare at each other. The one on the right reaches inside itself, its silver hand merging seamlessly with the glistening metal of its torso. An instant later, the hand is whole again and holding an object of peculiar construction. It drops the item into your hand. Payment, you assume. So we got thermodynamic detonation. It sounds like they just gave me a grenade. They did. They just gave me a grenade. Let's tell the orphans about Sylph. You draw a crude approximation of Sylph next to the orphan's image, still visible in the dust. It may be your imagination, but when you finish the drawing, the orphans seem pleased. They draw out another object, and it drops into your waiting hands, a stillness cage. I'll let you know if I find any more. Okay, let's see. What did we just get? So now I've got panoramic capture ball, unstable detonation, and thermodynamic detonation. I've actually got 3 now. Stillness cage. When a living animal is placed inside this bird cage, the device puts the creature into stasis. Theoretically, it could preserve a living being indefinitely, though the cage's size limits it to very small creatures. Okay, I'm going to make a game design comment. So I'm like reading this, and there's one little teeny tiny button up here to close it, and a big button here to throw the item away. My guess is that if you are playing this and you don't think about it too quickly, you're going to click this to close the description button and you're going to accidentally throw away something that you don't want to throw away. Okay, I have 3 ciphers now. Okay, so I can reduce the effects of cipher sickness by using, selling, or transferring any cipher to another party member, which is what we'll do. I don't see any... Okay, actually, no. What I said before, that was bonded items. Right? Wait, where's my... There's a skill that I don't remember if it's for bonded items or for ciphers, but anyway. So, for some reason, I can use 2 ciphers. And if I have more than 2, I get Cipher Sickness Fettles, which is minus 5% on all tasks. Ugh. Okay, well, we'll do something about that. So we've got a grenade here. Clears the fog of war in the current area. Or another grenade type item. Okay, so we're going to go and take this item. And I'm really not sure at all why these 2 are linked like that. Oh, maybe this is showing, this inner area is showing how many ciphers we can safely use. And anything on the outer area means that we're going to get negative modifiers. Okay, we're going to give this one to Allegern, and he can handle 5. Does he have... Yeah, so there's this cipher use. He's got 1 level of it, so he can use more. Okay, cool.
Have you ever tried to train your tattoos to be more useful?
What? You'd like them to do tricks for you?
What a fantastic idea.
It's never going to happen.
Okay. Okay, so our companion's having a nice little conversation. Who's Amra Hadon here? It's Omadon. This robed man turns a golden bespeckled gaze and winning smile upon you. He seems charming enough sort, but it's clear he wants something from you and is perfectly willing to take it, politely and with absolute guile, of course. At last, someone who looks like they can see further than their nose. These sage's sights are as observant as rocks. Please tell me you've seen a beautiful girl with purple hair. Her name is Persea. She's my beloved, but she suffers from a madness that causes her to fear everything. She can't stop running from imagined dangers, and I've been chasing her for, years now, trying to catch her and cure her before she hurts herself.
I'll remember that.
I recently tracked her here to Sage's Cliffs, but none of these blind fools can remember seeing her, even though I believe she stayed here for a time. Let me give you a description so you will know her. She is heartbreakingly beautiful and wears winged hair combs that float around her head, constantly changing the arrangement of her purple hair. Please, if you see her or hear word of her, return and tell me. My name is Omadon, and I can be most generous. How did you meet? We were at the same grave in the Valley of the Dead Heroes, a mutual friend, and in sharing stories of our love for that friend, we found that we were kindred spirits and decided we did not want to part when we left the valley. Odd that a place of death could give birth to something so beautiful and undying. What caused her to go mad? It is, I believe, some trauma associated with her birth or early life. We found that it could be overcome with love and care and certain medications, but even then some lapses occur. It was during the last of these that Persea vanished. I have been on her trail ever since. How do you hope to cure her madness? With love, mostly, but also with certain ancient techniques I have learned in my years of study for the cooling and untwisting of fevered and knotted minds. I'm positive that once I'm able to isolate her from corrupting distractions of the world, I will be able to restore her to her true self. Okay. It's possible that this guy is like totally on the up and up, and what he's saying is totally true, but he sounds really creepy to me. Probably she's like totally normal, and she's the only thing she's scared of is him. Well, let's see what's over here. The craft is capable of carrying one person to at most. Okay. Quijano del Toboso. That is a heck of a name. The scrawny old man practically rattles inside dull, indented armor that was clearly made for someone bigger than him. Nonetheless, his eyes burn with a bottomless fire, and he smiles, and his smile, as fierce as it is genuine, flashes beneath its graying thicket of beard. Another night, another hero in search of great adventure. You stand before the wandering knight, Quijano del Toboso. What brings you to the summit of Mount Theodore? And what a fearsome steed! What muscular flanks! He says to Why did you call this Mount Theodore? It's a city, not a mountain. A city? Your senses must have deserted you in the ascent. The heat has baked in your armor. Do not allow delirium to blind you to your accomplishments, good knight. You have scaled the very heights of Mount Theodore, the tooth of the world beast. Adventure lies in every shadow below us. Every sparkle of light is a quest ready for the taking. What brings you up here? Do you know that I am not quite sure? My memory is not what it was. I recall kneeling before my family's armor in our estate some time ago. Perhaps I was weeping. I can't recall, and it doesn't matter, for then I heard a thunderous roar and beheld a great beast in the skies. I donned my armor and gave chase. What kind of beast was it? It defied description, and so I shall describe it only to defy impossibility itself. 13 legs, 6 jaws, 1,000 eyes aglitter with malice and flame, scales the color of clouds. Alright, go on. The horrible beast leered down at me, promising destruction. I promised it death, and it fled across the sky. I followed, darting between the trees, and I don't remember much after that. I remember walking, having various adventures along the way, of course, but I cannot recall why I came here. Ah, of course, I must have had the frankly brilliant notion of scaling this lonely mountain to better spot the beast from afar. Alas, I've seen nothing so far. Okay, this guy sounds very much like Don Quixote, and I don't know if I actually want... I mean, on the one hand, I could just let him believe that he is a noble knight fighting a huge monster, or... Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. You are most welcome. It is good to share my tales with a fellow knight. Everyone else here raises such peculiar doubts. So you're looking for great adventure? Yes, but I feel I must speak plainly. Too many people have mistaken me for a common mercenary. I am not interested in entangling myself in local quarrels. I will not hunt a beast that cannot hunt me in return. If I am to fight, it must be against a foe of such wickedness that the stars themselves would wink out rather than shine upon a world that could harbor such malevolent creatures. Okay, so not only is he like a Don Quixote, but I could actually go and turn him loose. I'm just going to say farewell. I do not want to... I don't know, maybe I'll have to come back to him later, but... It seems like I could just get him in trouble, and I don't really want to do that. There's a merchant here. Okay. It's funny, when I saw that he was wearing armor that was too big for him, that was my very first thought, is that
all right.
He was somebody who kind of went a little crazy and decided that he was a knight.
Here we go then.
Seems fitting in a place like this. Master Renio, who are you?
Making a note.
The airship master is keeping a nervous eye on his vessel. He is a short and wiry man, dressed in a travel-stained but well-kept clothing. He is chewing on his impeccably groomed mustache in frustration. Welcome to Master Renio's Aerophile Adventures. I am afraid I will not be departing anytime soon, not since the theft. It has taken me great pains. I've always taken great pains to see the best in people, but that was before that runty, glowing, straw-haired idiot stole the Coronet, my prized airship. Until that thief is caught, my ship remains in dock, safely shuttered and chained. Can you tell me how your ship was stolen? Of course, the vagrant asked to borrow my airship first, if you can believe that. I refused, of course, and as politely as possible. I only looked away for a moment to sign some paperwork, and when I turned back, he was already in the air, waving from the railing. I'll help you find him. That would be a great relief. If you do stumble over him, bring him to me. I want to look the thief in the eyes and ask why he did this to me.
Making a note.
In the meantime, what can Master Brenio's aerophile adventures do for you? Have you seen a beautiful woman with purple hair lately? Purple, you say? Cannot say that I have, but I've also been preoccupied of late, as you can imagine. My apologies. What did the airship thief look like? He was a shorter fellow with blonde hair and a thin build. He was also glowing. That seems like the first thing you would tell people, but I should have known what he was planning. Oh, and I've seen his type before. Reckless. Thrill seekers. I've never understood them. Tell me about yourself. I'm the proprietor of this business and a ship's captain. In happier times I ran a fleet of vessels to various ports of call. These are not happier times, and my fleet has been reduced. Now I have but a single vessel. Such is life. You build for your family, and the vicissitudes of fate drive your plans into the rocks. But my struggling enterprise is the least of the gifts I hope to bequeath to my heirs. I try to teach them dedication, endurance, fairness in all dealings. What good would do them to see me take unfair advantage? I would rather be ruined than teach them that falsity is the route to success. My apologies. This has been much on my mind of late. You did not ask about my philosophy. Where do you travel? Once I flew as far as Augur Kala, soaring above the Arvern Wood and the unmeasured depths of the Ornu Lake, above the lava fields of the Ossifigan and the plains beyond. I flew south over the ruins of the Tabat homelands and east to the oasis of Mirage Jolis. Now I fly solely to the Valley of Dead Heroes, conveying mourners and memorialists to unchanging tombs.
Making a note.
Of course, I'm not flying anywhere at the moment, not while the thief who stole my other airship walks free. Okay, so that's a good thing that I wasn't planning on leaving anyway, because this was the only ship that looked like it was available. But that works out, because, like I said, I didn't want to leave quite yet anyway. Where does this one go? So it looks like we can go to the Cave of the Last World. We can go to the Cliff's Edge. Government Square. How much money do we have? Where's my money? 233. So we could rest first.
Done.
Although the last time we rested, another murder happened, so we seem to be doing pretty okay. So let's go to the next area, because I know we've got a couple of quests that pointed us here to Cliff's Edge. So we can start looking around here.
Come on, Aligern. Let's get moving. Get a little life into that step.
Don't disrespect your elders.
I'm 200 years older than you.
Yes.
They are a funny duo there. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, one other thing I like about this game is just how weird it looks. Like, every area has got, like, a bunch of places that you just want to investigate. Okay, this looks like some sort of bridge that's not quite functioning. To get over here, we've got some tormented levy, loss of self, got some sort of martial artist there, the beggar.
I'm there, in the
Got a
shadows.
hawker, an intoxicated woman, Dendra O'Hara cultist, some goons.
Yes.
Great. Let's see. Just take a quick look around. See what we got going here. Got some kids playing, it looks like.
Here we go then.
Got a Steechus. Ooh, some Steechus eggs.
You've got it.
Oh, I'm assuming those are Steechus eggs. They may not be. We got some stuff down there.
Yes.
Wonder if there's a way to get down there to it. Okay. Got some sort of machine going. Wait. What's going on up here? Been hearing strange noises from the midden. You see, the creature can't hide from us. Looks like they've got some sort of mob going. Talking about the Steechus. Dendro, or a cultist. Okay, so that looks like an exit.
All right.
And we got some more people here. What is this area? Whoa. Okay, so it looks like we got a lot going on here. Tunnel the underbelly. Caravanserai. We've got a bridge down here. There was a Steechus over there. Fifth Eye Tavern. Crashed airship. Okay. Real quick. Let's see. So this missing slave girl was supposed to be somewhere here on the cliff's edge. Let's see, airship thief. There was another one. This guy. We're supposed to go and find a victim's house in Cliff's Edge. The leader of the Dendro Her informed me that the Starless victim lived in Cliff's Edge. His house was near the chirurgical parlor. Perhaps a clue to his identity can be found there. Before we start talking to everybody, let us look. So this is a chirurgical parlor. So should be a house near here. Like here. Salty air only partially mutes the cloud of putrid sweetness clinging to this jumble of fallen wood, stone, and iron. Until recently, this was someone's home, but the unstable ground must have caused it to collapse. You shift aside broken pieces of furniture and small pieces of rubble, but you find nothing of value. After a short while, you realize what's happened. Someone has already picked through the ruins and taken the more accessible valuables. You stand back, concentrating. Nothing about the pile of stone is familiar, but the view from where the door once stood, a boundless horizon of falling into the sea, is.
I'll remember that.
This appears to be the house where the Castoff once lived, but either he left no clues of his identity or they were taken by scavengers. Might be helpful to ask around the area and see if anyone spotted someone looting his house. Let's dig through the pile, find the source of the stench. And Allegarn is much stronger than I am. Yeah, let's let Allegarn take care of this. The smell intensifies as you heave aside a slab of ceiling. A swarm of startled insects spins into the air, revealing the body of a young woman, torn and crushed. An invisible hand rips the air from your chest and the strength from your legs. You fall, feeling a presence close around you, a heat on your back. Let's shut our eyes. You push the blood-matted hair out of her face with trembling fingertips and close your eyes. The heat builds against your back like a bonfire. Suddenly, a cool hand covers your burning eyes. Smooth arm folds over your stomach.
I'll remember that.
And just like that, the heat is gone. You roll around. No one is there, but you sense something has changed in the labyrinth. A new reflection is forming in the labyrinth. I wonder if... find a way to communicate with the shadowy reflection that has appeared in the labyrinth. And... yeah. Okay, so...
I'm there. In the
there's somebody down here that I can see that is hawking stolen goods. So
Let's do
we'll
it.
go check with him. Let's see. This person. Okay, maybe not. I thought for sure that he would know. Okay, maybe they meant the area. It seemed to me that if anybody knew anything about
Let's go.
Stolen goods, it would be that guy. But maybe it'll be this guy. Mutant boy gazes at the entrance to the chirurgical parlor, flinching at each scratch of razor metal on metal from within. By your estimation, he's in his late teens, but is the size of a young, malnourished child. His arms are a little more than bone wrapped in red speckled skin, and the raw line zigzags down between his mismatched eyes and over the blade of a nose, as if pointing directly at his thin lips. He sees you looking, and bird-like muscles flex in his frail jaw. Get a good look, or maybe you want to call me some names. I hear eggshell a lot, or maybe lightning bolt. I get that one from time to time. Don't let me stop you. Call me some names. Laugh. Do it now, because in another few minutes, I'll be the one laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm sorry if I offended you. I don't want your apologies. You didn't offend me. Believe me, I'm used to that by now. I'm not going to be the butt of everyone's jokes anymore. He says. Electricity sizzles within the nearby parlor. This time he does not flinch away. I have some money, all right. I'm going to use it to change myself. Change everything I can. He trails off, studying you turn. His eyes widen, and then he glances quickly away, studying the nearby parlor instead. What sort of changes? What do you care? I'm sure you have business somewhere else in the city. I don't want to be any trouble. Did you see anyone looting that ruined house? No, but I wasn't really watching. Maybe they saw something? Occultists. Okay. Could everyone buy improvements? Yes, you pay the keeper and the drones remake your body any way you want. Why'd you look at me strangely earlier? Doesn't feel good to be stared at, does it? Okay. So it looks like we're going to be talking to these guys. It looks like this would be a good place to stop for now. We'll go and talk to these folks here and go and check out Cliff's Edge. It looks like the Steeges over here. It's probably going to need some help because it looks like there's a lynch mob or something forming down there. There's still a little slave girl that has gone missing that's supposed to be around here somewhere. And there look like plenty of interesting people to talk to, so that'll be next time. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you soon. Take care.